Nathan Day in the building, yeah. Let me say it as it is. Let me say it as it is. I owe Jesus everything. I'ma say it as it is. Don't you know that?
Hello YouTube family, welcome to another Nath a Day reaction video. And this time we are actually just doing a review, so it's not a first time reaction, but we are reviewing one of the vets that we have in the UK Christian hip hop scene, which is Triple O. But before I get into it, you know what to do, especially if you're new to the videos. Make sure you like, you comment and subscribe as well. Again, thank you to all the new subscribers, all the people who have been joining in the past month or two. The amount of subscribers has grown a lot, and it looks like you guys really are supporting and getting value from these videos, man, as we continue to highlight amazing talent in Christian music, especially in the UK. In regards to this particular artist, Triple O, I've known about him for some time. Again, he's kind of like Governor B's generation. He's been doing this thing for quite a few years. His first album, Flatline, came out in 2011. This album, you can tell, you know, he was just trying out different stuff. You know, I'm sure he had all sorts of musical inspirations, and it's kind of a mishmash of lots of different styles, very worship-centered music. But I wouldn't say there's a whole lot you learn about his life through these songs. Just turned 25 as well, literally just yesterday as of the time I'm recording. So shout out to all of you who've given me birthday wishes. 25 years old now, mid-20s. I guess my young adult days are quickly going by, but yeah, man, I'm just blessed and happy to see another year. We'll see if we're still doing these reaction videos in a year's time. But I would say in his second album, 0 Not Equal to 1, which came out a lot later in 2017, he does get a bit more introspective. I think, you know, some of the songs were just a bit too long. Like, you know, you've got 8-minute songs, 6-minute songs, 7, 9-minute songs. So I felt like maybe from this point, you know, Triple O was thinking, okay, my songs are becoming more deep, but you know, it's about getting the balance right. You still want the songs to have that replay value, as well as carrying a potent message. And then you can kind of hear him pretty much nail that in Cry Like a Man. You know, he definitely makes music that is an experience, and when it comes to projects and albums, he's definitely an artist to take seriously, because he delivers quality stuff. Yeah, this video is just a review of what I think about the album. It did come out at the end of September, but yeah, it didn't cross my mind to review it. But it's been amazing to have him reach out to me on Instagram, and the main reason why this video has come about is because he wants me to do it. He kind of DM'd me and said, hey, there's someone in my management who wants to speak to you. Here's the email address. So I emailed you know, his management, and then shout out to Tolu. Tolu got back to me, and yeah, they expressed an interest in kind of getting a video review from me. But this won't be the last of our partnership. We are discussing some ways we can further collaborate moving forward, and that's all I can say for now. But yeah, it's just been great for Triple O and his management to reach out. They're not paying me for it, so you know you're gonna get my wholly unfiltered review of this album. And I think this album, to be honest, does deserve a review because there's a lot that's been packed into it. With this album, Everything Left Unsaid, some major themes here include, I guess, marriage. I remember recently on his IG, he was posting some months ago about getting engaged, and now I think the marriage has happened. So again, Triple O, congrats on your marriage, congrats on making it. And there's various skits and moments throughout the album where you hear just what it's been like for him navigating relationships. I've got pieces of his story, but I haven't really read into his story fully. I haven't really watched any like full interview of him yet where he talks about things in more detail. So I look forward to doing that. But it seems just from what I've heard from his music alone, that he's been on a journey, and in songs like Inheritance, you know, he starts talking about fatherhood. And now, again, I'm not sure on the order of things. It sounds like he's got a baby daughter. And it sounds like, I don't know if the baby was born before he got married or after, or I don't know what the story is. But it starts off with quite an introspective look, and it literally starts off with a skit between, I guess, Triple O and his female friend, where, you know, he again kind of says, for a while I thought I didn't deserve what I currently have, and again addressing the shame and the guilt that he's wrestled with in his life, you know, which may be caused by, again, you know, certain habits or even just you know, self-doubt in his faith. I don't know, but very powerful opener, very introspective. Just one verse. You've got an amazing hook by a female singer who I don't know who it is, but then Sophia, I don't know how you say her last name. Is it Thakur or Thakur? A bit like Tupac Shakur, I guess, if that's how you pronounce her last name. But yeah, Sophia is a great spoken word poet. She's done amazing commercial work, and she's got, I believe, 2 books. She's released 1 book, and I believe she's got a new book coming out as well. But she's a believer as well, and she has a great kind of spoken word verse at the end, kind of talking about, you know, having the perspective of a child, right? And which is another big theme in the album, is wrestling with adulthood, the responsibilities of what it really means to be a man, a responsible man, a godly man, and, you know, leaning on Christ, you know, the balance between leaning on Christ, but also taking accountability for your own actions as a man. And I love that Triple O is so transparent about how tricky that is, because me just turning 25, still feel like a 15-year-old. There's still, even though I've got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and I've won a few awards, and I've got another creative business that I'm starting, a lot of people have told me, oh, Nathan, all these things you're doing, you know, you seem to be very mature for your age. But I think a lot of us kind of relate to that, this kind of imposter syndrome, especially when you leave school, you leave full-time education, and you try and look for a job, you start feeling, especially as a man as well, the pressure to stack your savings and, you know, buy a house and start a family, and, you know, you're still wrestling with your childhood issues. Again, it might be trauma that you've dealt with as a child, it might be neglect, it might be addictions that you're still fighting that is getting in the way of your confidence and your maturity. That's just what I'm learning. The more you grow up, the more you realize that everyone's faking it. Everyone's doesn't matter how old certain people are, they're figuring life out just like you know. So that's another major theme in the album. I love how even the more upbeat songs in the album still have a very powerful message that convicts other Christian men as well. You know, things like talking about therapy, talking about, you know, what it really means to be a man. And Time and Season is a perfect example of that, track 2.
Man, them suffer in silence.
Man, them suffer in silence.
I don't want to look into my eyes when I'm looking to the vibe, the pride that I see. Blacked out looking like this, now I gotta fight this and I gotta fight me. I see the time and season. I see the time and season.
So literally, the message of the song is there is a time and a season to be vulnerable and to address certain things, you know. And a killer line is coming up. Listen,
You ain't gotta be that G.
he's not got to be
Like a
like
man is a real thing. Asking for help doesn't make one week.
real.
You don't want to unpack the dark that we living inside. You carry at night. They never want to speak to the broskies. Cold feet.
And he
so
says
they
all
can
this
walk
while
free,
spitting
to them
so
be set
fire.
free. Guess
Next line.
what? Black men can do therapy.
There you go. So black men can do therapy, and those of you who already have known me for a while, you know that my creative business and my creative brand called Mental Roots is all about using creativity, animation, podcasting, filmmaking to destigmatize mental health in the black community. So if you want to check that out, again, in every video on this channel, there's going to be a link to that other YouTube channel for the Mental Roots brand, and you can watch the animated films there, which has been commissioned by the BBC. But all of that is to say, like, I wholeheartedly agree with what Triple O said there. You know, black men can do therapy. Black men, and even as Christians, you know, we tend to forget that God works through the physical as well as the spiritual. You know, it's one thing to go to the front and ask for deliverance at church, but when you are able to understand that God may want to heal you through a process, then, you know, having therapy, or maybe not even formal therapy that you pay for, but even just having a heart-to-heart chat with a male role model in your church that you look up to, if you're a man struggling with lust or struggling with, you know, fear or anxiety, or you're feeling the pressure of work or whatever, having that kind of support system is very important, not just because it helps you emotionally, but you can't fully be the man God wants you to be without having that some form of accountability. So it's something I've been learning, especially during COVID and through after the pandemic as well. I've already started kind of opening up to people at church about different things, and that in itself is quite therapeutic as well. And again, similar theme follows in Empathize, where he talks a bit more broadly about different people's experiences, and, you know, people experiencing grief and different things. And you know, it's important that we have empathy as Christians, you know, outside of the church. And, you know, that it's just great that he's able to talk about some real stuff whilst giving you a bop, right? And Empathize is another example of that.
Through it all, thank God I'm alive. Even still, I just need you to empathize. This one, context over the cornea. Pretense, nothing I find cornea. IG quote, straight for the caption.
This bit is
no
sick.
New friends, hates being alone. Celebrate celibacy, but couldn't be hornier. Raps every night like a tortilla.
I mean, what Christian rapper do you know talks about that conflict? Like, you know, is this double standard in, especially with purity culture in Christianity, where it's like we pose as, oh, I'm living holy or I'm living celibate, but you're battling with horny thoughts behind closed doors. And, you know, it's real stuff. It's real stuff, man. Like the tension of living in sin and, you know, having these things that might have to be healed through, you know, therapy or through talking with someone, or just practical stuff, you know. I think artistically, Triple O has always had an ambition. You can tell he has ambitious concepts with his music, and I think over the years he's become better at executing that. But the production on this album definitely is an improvement, I think, from previous projects, which is good. It's a testament to how he's grown as an artist, how his network is growing with, you know, up and coming artists in the Christian scene. And also, I'm sure he's been working with new producers as well to you know, try new vibes and, you know, new quality of production. But Glory, man, the sample, I recognize the sample from Aaron Cole. Aaron Cole is another, obviously, big CHH artist in the States. He's literally got a song called Glory as well. I think it's called Glory. But yeah, it's the same sample. But I like how the sample is flipped in this song by Triple O, which features Becca Folks, another big name in the UK scene of gospel music. And then we've got Jay Orks. I think that's how you say his last name. Never heard of Jay Orks before, but the auto-tune melody that he brings to the song adds a whole other vibe. So there's just so many different vibes. You've got the choir element. It's quite it sounds quite dark. It sounds quite like very anthemic, very like giving praise. It gave me like goosebumps when I first heard it. And then you've got the drill beat, you've got the auto-tune, and then you've got the lyricism from Triple O. It's just a nice blend of styles and influences. And
change as Everest knelt. I'm mounting, skip to the ground, no bouncing. Bow down now, wanna announce him. As this glory, I'm shouting. With both hands,
the hook is mad.
high, I'll testify. Eyes to the sky. Only you that I see. Praises be to the King.
And then here's Jay Orks. The glory, glory. Woo. Yo, we need more drill gospel, bro. We need more songs like this. No, give him all the glory. Yeah. Get more hype vibes in Kingship. So Kingship's another example. This is more of like a traditional UK grime sound. But again, it's a very wholesome message that is an anthem for, I guess, biblical manhood. Yeah. Black kings, we are not kids. We will do better. We are better, you know? And again, it's pushing that standard. And I just like how particular the lyrics are. And I'd love to hear more of these kind of particular messages in what we call Christian hip hop, right? Just anthems of like, you can be the change you want to see. You know, it's not just kind of abstract, not even abstract, but sometimes it's safe to do vague songs, you know, have vague lyrics giving glory to God in Christian hip hop and in any other kind of Christian music as well. But again, there's very specific messages here that is culturally relevant. And, you know, again, we continue with songs like Adult Ting, which is refreshingly honest. Is again, Triple O saying, you know, this whole adult thing is long, you know, talking about just the everyday responsibilities of being an adult. And it's nice, it's encouraging, you know. I don't know how old Triple O is now, probably in his 30s, but or maybe even early 40s, I don't know. But yeah, you know, it's like, again, we're all trying to figure this thing out, you know, and it's important we have grace for each other and, you know, not to judge each other, because the same measure you judge someone else, you know, you'll also be judged, as it says in the Bible. So, you know, just be kind, you know, be kind to people. You don't know what they're going through. And yeah, just Adult Ting is a very cozy song, you know, it's got a nice kind of, it humanize, it's as weird as it is for me to say, it humanizes Triple O a bit more. And then Louder is another trap banger on this album, another highlight for me. You can see how many hearts I've given the album, so that says a lot about how much I like the songs on here. Louder with Marco, again, it's like, again, Triple O's just running laps lyrically, man. It's just a victory lap. He's just spitting his thing. I don't know if this is his fastest rapping to date. He's probably rap faster, but I'll show you some of it.
Send the post lent and he meant it. That's what I call power. Decimated any preconceived notions so potent, so quick to devour. His time and his hours, so give him his flowers.
Yeah.
He was so self-raising, then he rose from the third, his ring did shower. That's cold and brazy. Them man there don't faze me. Why should I fear mankind when he rocked and he Roman reign with a cane and he came to his slain in a way that saves me? Now fear can't take me.
Listen.
With no, I be running to the love of the Father. There is no other lover carrying on my brothers and worries. You wanna dumb me, you're beautiful in a beautiful way. Cause every single day I'm thinking of another way to elevate the beauty of your name. Giving you glory daily, giving the honor to the king. So I gotta sing. Never giving up, never giving in. No matter the battle, cause I'm in it to win. No please, no please. I can never keep this quiet. One God, and that's the Messiah. One Lord.
Name me a rapper you've heard rap that fast, just generally, apart from Eminem or Joyner Lucas. Like, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So he can spit, man. If you're a rap fan, you like rap, Triple O's got you. He's got you. Don't worry. Polo 2.0. So again, a sequel to Polo from 0 not equals to 1. Again, he's getting back into his what's it called? His reflective bag. Again, kind of, but this time the songs around this section of the album talk a lot more about family, and you know, it talks about, this is where I need to have a few more listens, even though I have been listening to that album here and there since September. I'm not sure if I fully understand his story, like in terms of, you know, when his child came and, you know, the exact problems that he's had with relationships, or maybe lack of relationships, I'm not sure. But there's a few songs here kind of dedicated to his woman, and again, navigating self-identity, doubting if he can, I guess, carry the mantle when it comes to, you know, being a man of responsibility and taking care of his family, like, because self-doubt comes in quite a lot when you're trying to be the change and when you're trying to be a positive influence. The devil, will do a lot to try and tempt us and bring us down. And Polo 2 and Better Man kind of talk about these things. It's with God's help that you elevate, just trying to fight your battles by your own. That's part of the problem, is when we try and fix things by ourselves rather than leaning on, the grace of God. And then a big highlight for me in this album is this, one of the skits, I Need My Daughter to Hear This. I don't know how old Triple O's daughter is, but it's a very intimate skit where Triple O is talking directly to his daughter, and it puts the album in context that he's a father now, and he's living for something bigger than himself, and his daughter is giving him something his daughter motivates him to be the change, to fight his own demons and to just push harder, in kind of breaking family curses, breaking, cycles in his own life. And his daughter is just that extra reason to just push through and be that positive change there. Where Triple O kind of gives credit to his family. House Into a Home is, now we get some more kind of positive, uplifting party songs, I guess. Songs that you can vibe out to. House Into a Home is surprisingly quite a melodic song. So when I saw Triple O and Esso had a song together, I was thinking they were just going to bar off, because Esso, again, he's a veteran when it comes to this Christian hip hop thing. Great versatile artist, and whenever he releases his next project, I really look forward to reacting to Esso, because the standard of not only his rapping but also his singing as well is very up there. So a high quality artist, but both of them kind of come together as grown men. They're both fathers, they've both got wives, so they're both, I guess, at a point in their life where musically you can hear their maturity. And in this song, they're just serenading, man. They're just celebrating their wives. They're singing, it's a love song, basically. My Life as well is a banger. Shout out to Still Shady, Remaz, and Elikem. My Life, again, is just a celebration for all that God has done, the hard times that God has brought Triple O and his people through. And it goes straight into Jesus Is My King, which is, I think, the leading single from the project. Again, this Jesus is My King is similar to Awesome God in Triple O's last album, where it's the sort of song you could probably play in church. Again, very uplifting, very inspired by existing worship songs. And again, it's just another example of Triple O's versatility. And then you've got the closer, which is a very positive and powerful closer to the album, where Triple O partners with the legendary The Truth. The Truth, I think he's going to change his artist name to Emmanuel soon. So even The Truth, with the amount of years that he's had in this CHH game, he's still relevant. He's still pushing himself artistically, and he's still entering a new phase in his artistic career. So again, it's great to see both of them just really give in-depth bars about how God has helped them mature over the years as men, and how through all the ups and downs and thick and thin, God has kept them. And it's just an ode to rising again. And shout out to Shireen as well, who does a great job on the hook and with the melodies in the background. And so on the whole, as an album, I've said a lot of what works well. I think in terms of what could be improved, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think I'd love to just hear even more detail on, I guess, a bit more. I don't know. Maybe it's just I need to listen to certain songs a bit more to better hear what's going on. But it would be nice to kind of hear the backstory in terms of what has been the cause of the struggles he's had over the years. And again, if it's pretty private stuff like maybe porn or maybe even just depression and things like that, things that are hard to talk about in music, and just in general, I understand if he might not be ready yet to go into full detail, but I think he said enough in his music that it already speaks to the depths of what you're going through. I think good music can be specific on certain things without being too triggering, and I think Triple O has reached that balance really well with this album. And then Polo 2.0, again, songs like that are highlights in terms of the introspection. I don't know what else could be improved. I think it's just, I want to hear more introspective music. I think in terms of how cohesive the album is, it is relatively cohesive because, again, you kind of have Time and Season and Empathize, they're quite hype in that sense with the trap beat, but also quite introspective in the content of the lyrics, and Glory fits that mold as well. Kingship's pretty upbeat, Drive is upbeat as well. Gracious K, again, another great feature on here, spits a quality verse. Asha Elia does a great hook on there, and then we get a few more kind of introspective songs. So in terms of how the songs are arranged, I think they're good. It would be nice to see Triple O push his cohesiveness even more, and maybe even have like smooth transitions between songs as well. Certain artists do that, where the end of one song smoothly transitions into the next song. So it would be nice to see him kind of push that ability with, being more selective with the production and how one song transitions to another. I also think maybe it would have been nice to hear a rap verse from SO, even though his singing is alright on this song. Yeah, apart from that, I don't think there's much I could say in terms of how the album could be better. But in terms of what I want to hear from Triple O moving forward, I feel like he literally left nothing unsaid. Everything left unsaid from his previous projects, he said in this album. And I'm sure he has more to say as he progresses through his marriage, as he progresses through being a parent. I'm sure he will have more stories to tell and more insights to give. But yeah, you can tell he took his time to really make this album, and it's a very wholesome album. What I think it means for Christian hip hop, I think it sets the standard, particularly in the UK scene. So number one, pay attention to albums. I think making an album is always an ambitious feature for any artist, and I think budget and the team that you have has a huge role to play in that. So I can understand why a lot of UK Christian artists might not have like a whole catalogue of albums yet, and we're strong in our EP game and we're releasing a lot of singles, but we don't have that many albums in the UK scene, I think, obviously compared to the US scene. I don't know, maybe budget or time or whatever has resources and things like that might have to do with that, but it would be nice to see more ambitious projects like this moving forward in the UK scene, where we see a wealth of songs, diverse in style, and we've started to see that with artists like Canola, and who are not just creating playlist albums. You know how it is with a lot of hip hop artists today, where they're releasing albums, but these albums are just way too long. They're bloated. There's a lot of filler songs, and the songs aren't cohesive. It's just a playlist of random songs. But it's nice to see that, again, with some of the artists I reviewed, like Samson and Canola, in the UK scene, we're starting to see more cohesive bodies of work, and I'm all about cohesive bodies of work. I'm a huge fan. I normally listen to albums over singles. I do have a lot of playlists, but I enjoy listening to an album, and so this is why on this channel I'm only reacting to EPs and albums for now, because number one, that's all I really have time for, but number two, I have more of a respect for when an artist puts together a body of work, which is not easy, and those are the things I want to give the time and day and the shine for. So yeah, that's my perspective on everything Left Unsaid. A very promising album, fourth album from Triple O, and it's an ode to how much God has done in his life, especially in recent years, as he's kind of broken ground, new ground in his life. He's overcome some of his old cycles, and although he might still face temptation and still face doubts and insecurities, he's overcome so much. God has helped him overcome so much. The fact that he's married now is a huge kind of weight that's been lifted off his shoulders, and this album is just a celebration of this stage of enlightenment and faithfulness from God that he's experiencing. So it's a breath of fresh air in his discography, and it represents a breath of fresh air in his life as well. So I'm really happy for you, Triple O, man. I'm happy that you're in this place, happy that you're married, happy that you're navigating adulthood and parenthood. And even the way the album ends as well, with the skit with one of Triple O's friends, and it's just so nice to hear Triple O's friend have context, historical context to what Triple O has been fighting, and her just saying, hey, big up yourself, your life is just a testament to how faithful God is, blah blah blah. So yeah, man, very wholesome project, very enjoyable. I'm still have a lot more listening to do to really soak in what Triple O is saying, but this one's gonna stand the test of time. This one is I'm not gonna forget this project easily. This one's gonna be on rotation for some time. So guys, if you're new to Triple O, check out his music, check out everything Left Unsaid. A link to listening to the album on all streaming platforms is in the link for this video, so check that out. Stream his music, buy his music, show him love on Instagram and his social platforms. And yeah, let's just keep supporting artists like Triple O, who have been grinding. They've been doing this thing for a long time, but for whatever reason they might still be underrepresented or underrated. So let's really give these people their shine as they continue to push their creative craft. But yeah, if you've watched the whole video up until this point, that means you're a real one. Thank you. You know what to do if you haven't done so already. Like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next few videos that are coming up, and most importantly, comment in the comments below if you already listen to Triple O, what are your favorite Triple O songs. And yeah, I'm sure hopefully I'll be able to do an interview with Triple O on this channel, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully we'll be able to do that in the new year. Big up yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.